Come with me as we balance our delicate bodies on the fantasy basketball waiver wire. Don't worry, I'm your net.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and as a millionaire living my best life, I'm giving $15,000 to the first 20 people that comment Vucevic in the comments below. I understand that many people are struggling with bills, and I want to help ease that burden. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. If your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We're free, we're available on all platforms, and we are part of the number one sports podcast network, the Locked On Podcast Network. So thank you for pushing us there. Thank you for pushing me, both hands, both cheeks, right up to the 100K sub mark. We're getting there slowly, and you get the nickname Origin Show. Maybe even get some old sound. No, I don't know about that. I have to contact the lawyers. But you will get a nickname Origin Show when we hit 100K subs. All right, what we're doing here is talking about the fantasy basketball waiver wire. So let's have a look. Let's take a look at who's been added. Let's take a look at who's been dropped. Let's take a look at decisions that could be made across that whole landscape. And over the last 48 hours, using the Basketball Monster tracking metrics, these are the most five, well, that's actually the incorrect English. These are the five most added players. Number one is Jaylon Tyson. He's a really interesting player and someone that I liked quite a bit last season. I thought he had a chance to open the season as the starter. They went with Sam Merrill, but it does appear that Tyson is ahead of Merrill now in that spot. Now, when this team is healthy, which isn't happening at all, I don't think he's going to do enough. You're going to have Garland, Mitchell, Hunter, Mobley, Allen. I don't really think there's a debate there. And we've still got Max Strus to come back in January. But anytime that somebody is out, whether it's Allen or Garland or Mitchell, whoever, Tyson steps up and he contributes. Otherwise, he gets lost in that bench group of Lonzo with Merrill with Tyson. And Tyson, as I just said. He is a guy that is an out-of-position assist guy, a good defensive stat player. He can ramp it up and score. I don't mind the add of him, and when the schedule makes sense, he's always going to be a pretty elite streamer for the Cavs, and that is useful. In terms of a long-term guy, I think that as the season goes on, it gets harder for him with the addition of Strus into that mix. Not that Strus is going to be great, but it's just another name to add into that mix, and it keeps Tyson from maybe being 22 minutes to 21 or to 20, or from 24 down to 22 or something. But when opportunities arise, and they are arising, Merrill's hurt and Allen's hurt, then we love it. The next one is the horse, Keldon Johnson, who is, as we all know, he is doing the thing. There's no Wemby, there's no Castle, there's no Harper. So Johnson not only is getting more minutes, he's getting more usage, but he's deciding he's going to shoot 1,000,000% from three, making him look like an absolute world beater. He's still never going to get assists, steals, or blocks, and that shooting is going to come down. For now, with Keldon Johnson, it's okay to roster him. It's okay to stream him. But of course, the Spurs have been in a really weak period of their schedule. Not so much for all of week 7, but they're in this middle of this 2 games in 7 night stretch. Johnson is totally usable at times, more for points leagues, not for category leagues. The long-term value is not there, though, I don't think. The next guy is, I think, somewhat more interesting because there's a chance that there is longer-term value for Kyle Filipowski. Now, there was a bit of a rush to add him when Walker Kessler went down, and he did not deliver at all. He barely played. He would come off the bench alongside Taylor Hendricks. The last 5 games, it's been better for Filipowski. 11.4 points and 7 rebounds a game in the last 5. His season-long numbers, if you want to cast your eyes back 1 month ago through everything that's happened, they're bad for his shooting. Under 44%. Bro, come on. You need to be better than that. And he has been. The number is up over 54 over the last couple of weeks. Part of the problem with Filipowski from a real-life perspective, which translates to fantasy, we're playing fantasy here, obviously, and there'll be, a very common refrain is, real life and fantasy are not the same thing. Yeah, but there are a lot of things that are very similar, and there are big impacts of real life onto fantasy. So anyone who uses that as an excuse, well, I don't know, you might just say they don't know ball, because they don't, because it's just not a thing. So Kyle Filipowski, we can say, but he doesn't block shots for fantasy. That's a problem in real life, and it leads to his minutes being diminished because he's a bad defender who doesn't protect the rim. So those two things relate. Now, you can look at some of his numbers and go, well, his blocks he's at 1 a game over the last 5. That's true. He had 3 in 1 game. He also had a stretch of 8 games in a row with 0 blocks. He is not a good shot blocker. And this is one of the things with a stat, which I'm going to say this term because I like saying it, but a Poisson distributed number, which blocks are, it becomes, you can get these big 3-block games that then bump an average over 2 weeks and make it look better than it actually is, where you can have 3 blocks in 1 game, 1 block in another, and 4 zeros, and it still looks much better than what it was before when it was 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 when he was dealing in binary. Like, he is interesting. I don't think that Kyle Filipowski is a must-add or a must-roster player. His last game played 26 minutes. That was very intriguing. It was also the game that the Thunder came back and pumped him by 40 points and the whole fourth quarter was garbage time, in which he played basically every minute. So it's one of those ones where if you look at the last game, even if you look at the last couple of weeks of Filipowski, you will chase it. You got minutes up, production up, I'm in. It's happening. And I don't think it is. Next one is Jordan Goodwin, which I would assume, why did I butcher my word then? Assume or assume? I would say assume, because I speak proper English. I guess it's schedule-based with the back-to-back. Goodwin's good. I like Goodwin as a player. But there's limited overall upside while we're in the scenario we are now, and then Allen is going to return, and then Green is going to return. But it's probably just a schedule ad stuff. The last one's Jaden Ivey. And I don't really know where I sit on this. Ivey returned. He played 15 minutes off the bench. Right? He was fine. He was pretty good. He was fine. He historically has not been a very good category league player. He's been a pretty solid points league guy. I do think you should add him. There is the chance that he's a 30-minute a night start. There's a chance he isn't, because JB Bickerstaff said he's running a 12-man rotation for now for the foreseeable future. So that's not good. But there's a chance that he gets to 30 minutes pretty quickly and is a clear must in points. And for categories, it's going to be very dependent on how you want to view ranks or, more importantly, reality into what he gives you. So I get adding him. It does make sense. I do think it'll be a little bit rocky in the short term, though. If you look at Yahoo, who's been added over the last, 15 hours or so, number 1 is Caleb Love. All right. Buddy was very good in the last game. He played a lot of minutes. He scored a lot of points. And while Drew Holiday is out, and Shaden Sharp is out, and Blake Wesley is out, and Scoot Henderson is out, Love has an opportunity. He's gone over 30 minutes in 2 of the last 3 games. I don't mind a stream of him in for today. I think that makes sense. But as a long-term play, as soon as Sharp is back, there's just no point in it. Colin Gillespie, the next most added player. Gillespie is one of the more rock-solid scenario plays that we've seen. 2 rotation guys out, absolute clear 12-team league guy. 1 rotation guy out, not worth it. Now, your ability to stash and hold and wait for injuries depends on a lot of different factors. I can't tell you whether that's right or wrong. But I do know that when one guy is out, he doesn't do enough. But for now, absolutely, we love it. Noah Clowney showed quite a bit in the last game. I have been a Clowney supporter. I would say that I have been relieved more than impressed this season. What I like is that they just say, right, you're starting, you're playing 30 minutes a night. And that to me is just a giant tick. It's like, all right, we're off. That's what we need. The blocks are coming more frequently as well. Again, that's what we need. I believe the Clowney's a must-roster player. So people are adding him. Sandro Mambakulishvili was very good last game, and Pirtle is out today. Excellent one-day stream. Love it. And then there's Bubble Champagne in San Antonio, who, again, you don't want to hold long-term, but with the absences, there's a chance of 20 points, there's a chance of 5 threes, and there's a chance of him providing something on Sunday to end your fantasy week. And that's what he does, and then we just don't hold on for very long. We'll come back, and we'll talk drops, we'll talk must-rosters, we'll talk hot players, all that sort of stuff. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by Gusto. Gusto is the all-in-one remote-friendly payroll and HR platform that makes managing your team simple, transparent, and fast. You might be hiring or onboarding or paying employees. Gusto helps you do it all from one place without the hassle or hidden fees. You get unlimited payroll runs for one monthly price, which means at the end of that month, you don't get any surprise charges, and you can reach certified HR experts anytime to give you real peace of mind. Try Gusto today at gusto.com/LockedOnNBA. Get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That is right. 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/lockedonnba. One more time, that is gusto.com/lockedonnba. Today's episode is also brought to you by Waiver. The holidays are literally right around the corner, and that means it is time to get your home ready. It might be seating for guests. It might be cozy new linens. It might be carving knives, carving forks, carving plates, carving trays, carving dishes. You might be carving stuff. Wayfair's Black Friday sale is here to help you make your space shine. If you want to carve it up on the dance floor, well, maybe they've got some disco lights. Maybe you need extra mood lighting, dimmers, linoleum flooring. I'm sure Wayfair has all that stuff, and their Black Friday deals are happening all month long, so up to 70% off everything from sofas through to carving utensils. And you know when you host family for holidays, you don't know how much difference those few little extra touches can make. You're going to get all the compliments in the world. Is that a new carving knife? Yeah, it probably is, because I got it directly from Wayfair with their 70% off Black Friday deal. Don't miss out on early Black Friday deals. Go to wayfair.com now to shop Wayfair's Black Friday sale up to 70% off. That is wayfair.com. Sale ends December 7th. All right, we're here, we're talking waiver wire, and we're going to get into talking about the most dropped players and see whether there is any reactive moves there and things that you can maybe capitalize to see whether that has happened in your league, or whether you need to follow suit in jacking off some of these dudes.
Get that garbage out of here!
Number one is Fanapants, Kevin Huerter. Yeah, pretty easy. Kobe White's back, he's starting. Okoro is hurt, but that's okay. I don't care. Huerter is a stream guy when there's a scheduled plus spot for the Bulls, and that's it. Done. Isaiah Jackson, he's bad. Like, he's just not good. And we're going to talk about another Pacers center later on in the show, but it's just impossible to rely upon these guys. Jackson could very well come out in their next game and go for a double-double. Easy. You can have 4 blocks. No problem. But I don't care. I just don't rely upon it. He gets into foul trouble. He has bad, invisible performances. Tony Bradley gets his minutes. It's just so impossible to rely upon that. Moses Moody's been dropped. Yeah, again, makes complete sense. Moses Moody needs to shoot 70% to have outlier performances to make sense. Otherwise, he gets lost. There's just too many guys there. And he's not good enough. I like Moses Moody. I think in the right situation, he would be a very good fantasy player. But this is not it. And the outlier games are solid, but you don't know when they're going to happen. Like, you literally don't. You got no idea. So, like, do you just start him every game and get the 160th best player? I don't think so. Najee Marshall, tough one for me with Najee. It does help that it seems that just one guy being out helps. PJ out, good. Cooper Flag out, Najee goes off. D'Angelo Russell sick, goes off. All right. But if they're all there, and this doesn't even include Anthony Davis, but if any of those other guys are there, much like with Colin Gillespie, like, he does struggle to do enough. So you probably need 2 guys out, AD plus somebody, for Marshall to be useful. And the last one there is Dennis Jenkins. And we've talked about Jenkins for a long time here. It seemed at first it was a everyone is out type stream. And then players came back and he still started. Okay, that's really interesting. But we still don't know what happens when Toby Harris comes back and when Jaden Ivey comes back. Well, they did come back. Bro played like 15 minutes. So unfortunately, he's done. For as good as he might be, this is the old Omer Yurtseven. It's all well and good to step up when other players are out and show that you're good. And he is good. I love what he did. But there's a reality of playing the 240 game. There just isn't that playing time that's around. So at some point later in the year, we might re-add Dennis Jenkins. Now, we just can't. You just can't hold on to a player like that. Now, look, the Pistons, knock on wood, might come out tomorrow and Cade and Ivy get hurt and they're out for 4 weeks and Jenkins is running the show again. Totally possible. But the process of waiting for someone to get hurt is just an unviable one for most people playing fantasy. If we look at Yahoo's most dropped players, number 1 is Bilal Coulibaly. Interesting. I didn't think that people would bail on Bilal as quickly as I had. I don't believe in Bilal this season. I don't believe that he's a must-roster player. I never have for this year. And he looks quite poor at the moment. And they've got 2 games this week. So if you were going to move on, this is the time to do it. Trey Jones, easy drop. Max Christie, easy drop. These are fringe players who step up and can be streamed in. I don't understand the next one. Why, given that Christian Brown is out and Aaron Gordon is now out for 6 weeks, why would you drop Peyton Watson? It's not even like his performances have been bad. They've been very good. This makes no sense. Like, I cannot for the life of me understand why Peyton Watson was dropped. That is an insane decision. Go and add Peyton Watson. You have no Christian Brown and no Aaron Gordon. The minutes floor is locked in. Locked in. This is a no-brainer. The next most dropped player is Ayo Dosunmu. He started last game in place of Okoro, didn't do very much. You know my take on Ayo. He's going to have games where he has 20 points on 65% shooting. But he needs to play 34 minutes, and he needs to shoot that ball that well. And he will do it sometimes, but not enough. He is way over rostered Dosunmu, so I'm glad that people are deciding to move on because he just is a clogger at this point. And he just shouldn't be sitting on as many rosters as he is. What we can look at now are must-roster guys. These are all players who I think that just need to be rostered everywhere, but they're currently under 50% on Yahoo. Now, again, for most of you, you'll be like, Josh, they're all picked up weeks ago because we are, we're the double onyxes. You snoozed. You didn't even talk about these guys quickly enough. All right, cool. This is just in case. I'll run through the names just in case. Just in case. Derik Queen, who I have so many conflicting thoughts on. So many conflicting thoughts. But very clear must roster player, has been for over a week at least, as we've mentioned on the show, for over a week at least. Still concerns, still some worries about a lot of things about where his game is, but it's super fun. He's playing so well. And he's very clearly a must roster player. Grayson Allen, the big Colk, Ryan Kolkbrenner, still sits at 32% rostered. Surely no one dropped him because he got hurt his ankle yesterday and left the game early, like must roster. Zach Edey, been telling you this one as well for weeks. Like, what are we doing? Zach Edey. And Jaden McDaniel sits at under 50% rostered. Okay, roster him. What are we doing? Just scour your waiver wire. No excuses. These 5 players are must roster players. Again, this should not be a controversial opinion. This next one is droppable players. Do you just go and automatically jack them off? Consent first, but
Get that garbage out of here.
No, John. You don't just go and do it. They're just players that if they're on your roster and you're looking for something, you're looking for an open spot, you're looking for some streaming, you're looking for a speculation, you're looking for a stash, you'd feel alright if you moved on. Tristan Da Silva plays 2 games this week. His production's not that good anyway. And yeah, Paulo's still out, but I don't really care. What am I missing out on? Bye. See ya. Colin Sexton. Yeah, LaMelo could get hurt. But even the game LaMelo's out, is Sexton doing enough to be like, oh, I can't possibly miss out on the 100th best player? Like, not really. Dennis Schroeder. Who knows, man? Like, who knows? All I know is that I don't care to sit around and wait and find out with him on my roster. Will he get 0 points? 20 points on one shot? I don't know. Will the minutes be 30 or 4? Who knows? Don't care. Not worrying about it. Anthony Simons was great in the last game. That's good. The other 13 were terrible. I don't think that we need to worry about it. And what we saw from Missoula, and this is, I think, pretty indicative or pretty telling, where Sneaky Joe said, they go, how did you feel about Simons' game when he played 30 minutes? And Joe, I wish I could do a Joe impersonation because he's honestly one of the funniest people ever to listen to. But he said something along the lines of, I really liked his defense. Okay, yeah. Well, A, probably lying, but B, the fact that he went from dreadful to not dreadful meant that he got more minutes. And I don't know, I've seen Anthony Simons for quite a while. I'm not going to put my faith in him being not dreadful at defense. Meaning, I don't think that Missoula's going to give him the free run of shots just because some of them go in. He very clearly is like, you need to defend. And I'm just going to put my faith in the Anthony Simons will not defend basket more so than in the will defend basket. And the last one there is Duncan Robinson, who's been very good. But 12-man rotation, the return of Ivy. This guy's a 3-point specialist. He's had some solid games. He's a great stream guy, but absolutely not, in my mind, someone you need to look at as a must roster player. All right, we'll come back. We'll talk about some other names, some hotties, some guys who are thriving, just some other names that we need to talk about. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back. There's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of a game, which you'd have to be like 30 minutes after tip-off to miss it, but you might want to come in and also ride a hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything, from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. You can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at that bigger payout. It enables you to put your knowledge, your brains, your intuition to the test with those live bets on FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So go to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA, and don't forget to gamble responsibly. All right, let's take a look at some guys over the last week that have nudged their head inside the top 100. Now, I excluded guys who had played 1 or 2 games for a per-game basis. There were some guys who had a decent sample here that are worth talking about. And this is where we get into that most dropped player. Like, Peyton Watson's the 61st ranked player. Like, what are we actually doing? Now, that was fueled by one really big outlier offensive performance, which is not a real thing that's going to happen. We scored 30 points, but defense will be there, and the minutes floor is strong. And losing Gordon also helps his usage. This is just, You might have been on the fence before Gordon got hurt, and I understand that. I was sort of on the fence a little bit as well. You can't be now. He just has to be rostered. Daniel Gafford's the 95th ranked player. I'm not convinced that that's going to be something that's real, that sticks. It obviously helps that Davis has been out and Lively has been out. But when Lively's back, Gafford is very muted, and then Davis will probably really ruin him. The next one's Goga Badadze, which I was a little shocked at. Now, you don't do anything with this because Goga and the Magic played 2 games this week, but as a blocks and field goal percentage streamer, Goga does provide stuff. Vince Williams is the 99th ranked player, and while Demetrius Morant is on the sidelines, Williams is a must-roster player. Those numbers justify that. And Brandon Williams is 101st. I know some of you will be very disappointed in Brandon Williams, and some of you will look at Brandon Williams and you'll look at his numbers, and you will be like, I'm not interested in it. And you'll say, Josh, over the last week, he's actually only 155th in 9-cat rankings. You see he's 101st. Yes, because 9-cat rankings, misleading, completely false, and do not provide the information that you think they do. The math on them, I believe, is incorrect, let alone the utility in the game that we play. But in saying that, Williams is a starting point guard who is averaging 26 minutes a night over that time. 12 points only, yeah. 4 rebounds, 5.5 assists, and a steal. And shooting 28%. 28. And the question we always have to ask, you can say that, Josh, he's killing my field goals, he's shooting 28. Okay, that's great. Do you believe he's a 28% shooter? Because if you do, then totally okay. But if you don't, and you live in reality, then you know that it's going to get better. And you know that it's going to improve. And he is a point guard, a starting point guard, who's going to give you 5 assists, most likely, with a steal, with 4 rebounds, with probably 16 points and 2 threes. And that's really bloody good. And D'Angelo Russell isn't taking his job. There have been a couple of games where Russell got more minutes, but in general, Williams has significantly outplayed D'Angelo Russell. So I just firmly believe he's a must-roster player. And at the moment, he's not being rostered in the majority of leagues. Let's take a look at some other names that are worth discussing. The first guy on this list, Pelle Larsson. Now, I'm recording this during the Miami Heat's game on Sunday. Larsson is starting games, right? There is no debating that. He is starting games. And look, I'm just actually looking now, that game is finished, and Larsson played 32 minutes. Now, it is worth noting that Andrew Wiggins, Tyler Hero, and Little Chungus Nikola Jovic were all out. Larsson had 15% shooting in that game, horrid. But he had 8 assists. And this 3.8 assists I've listed here as a starter, which is what he's averaged, was before those 8. He's also got a 67%, or had a 67% true shooting before today's game, which obviously came down. I don't fully know what they're going to do, because what I think is going to have to end up happening here is he closed this game as well, by the way. And I tell you who didn't close this game, the guy that you're all going to be like, I want you all to sit down because I'm sure that your blood flow has moved out of your head because you're going to be talking about how good Kelly Ware was, who started, had 20 and 16, played 26 minutes and did not close the game. It was Pelle Larsson that closed over him, right? So again, before we get excited, the decision's going to be, does Pelle Larsson start or does Kelly Ware start? And honestly, I think Spo is going to start Larsson. Is Pelle Larsson a guy that you have to roster? Not really. But as a guy that can get you assists in this way, can score double-digit points most nights, hit 1 or 2 threes, if any league is like 175, 180 deep, he should be rostered. The risk is going to be Tyler Hero, without any question. And how that impacts it and what they do. Do they start? Because they can start Hero, Mitchell, Larsson, Wiggins, and Bam, right? Oh, sorry, not Mitchell. So they can start Hero, Powell, Larsson, Wiggins, Bam, leaving Mitchell and Ware on the bench. But Ware could start, Mitchell could start, Larsson is the only one of those guys that could come off the bench. So the role is very much like it's under direct threat. but he is playing well. And we have to at least acknowledge that. Bob Portis, another name that just should be rostered now. Do I like Bobby Portis as a player? Not particularly. Is he somewhat washed? Yeah, in a pretty decent way. But with Yanni out, we go that way. And we use him probably over Kuzma, to be honest. Maxime Reynaud, tough one. Sabonis is out. The Kings are disastrous. And Reynaud's an interesting second-round player. Now, I thought we were going to get a good opportunity to see some stuff on Saturday. Drew Eubanks was the starter and got early foul, so Maxime Reynaud came in 4 minutes into the game. And then he got into extreme foul trouble and barely played 8 minutes. His per-minute numbers were good, as they were the game before. But what was encouraging to me is that he came in and not Precious Achiuwa. I think that if you're in a stash scenario, I think Sabonis, well, obviously is out. I think Eubanks is not a long-term guy. There's a chance that guys get traded like Sabonis, and that for 2 months of the season, Reynaud is a starter. But you've got to be in a spot where there is real stash ability. For now, I don't mind that 14-team type stream because the minutes from last game are not a realistic representation of his role. I put Isaiah Collier on this list because I just don't think that you need to roster him. He will have games where he puts up 10 assists with 18 points and you go, see? And I go, yeah, okay, cool. The problems all still remain. No threes, no blocks, bad field goals, bad free throws, low usage. Plus, now he is competing with a true breakout in Keontae George and rookie Ace Bailey. And I just don't think he's going to play enough minutes to matter. He is rostered in far too many spots, Collier, and I just don't think you need to do that. The last name is a name that, again, is going to be risky. It is Jay Huff, because Huff has been awesome in the last 2 games. He's played over 20 minutes in both of them. He's taken 22 shots combined in those last 2 games. The game before that, though, he played 8 minutes. He's only started twice this season. That's it. But he's an absolute shot-blocking machine. In the last 10 games, he's blocked at least 1 shot. In 8 of those 10 games, he's blocked at least 2 shots. That, basically on its own, makes him a rosterable guy, sort of. But again, the game log is scary. You can go from 8 minutes to 25 minutes at any point. He can play 10 minutes in the next game. At the moment, I probably do prefer him over Isaiah Jackson, but I honestly have no idea what's going to happen game by game because Rick Carlisle changes it all the time. And Huff having 2 games in a row is almost a red flag to me, suggesting that he's going to get limited in the next one. So, don't commit to him as a starter. I think the only 2 games he started were at power forward anyway. He blocks a million shots. His usage is up, but it doesn't mean that it holds. But I do think that Huff is worth adding. And we just sort of see. Because those block numbers, that is undeniable. They are great numbers, very clearly. And that, I hope, was a great show. You can come in and hit a thumb. You can come in and drop a like. That's a thumb, the same thing. Subscribe, though. Subscribe, audio-wise and video. Guys, yeah, I think we're done. I'll just let the subscribe button play out so you actually get the visualization of what you need to do. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.